we're going to look at, in 8G, we're going to look at what we call effective interest rate. What you're going to know is when they quote or they talk about nominal interest rate, that's just your normal little r. So it's your normal per annum rate. So we've been seeing that. We've seen that in our, say, in our compound interest. We saw that if you had your per annum rate, but if we had to do it by monthly, we took that rate and we divided by 12. And that means that even though you're multiplying it by a smaller amount, but for 12 times a year, you're going to calculate this interest. And then we saw if we had weekly, we were doing it dividing by 52. So what happens when you see that is the more you compound interest, the more regularly you do it, you actually are going to get more money. And so what they do, at the end of the year, 1 year, they work out, even though they said it was for, whatever percentage per annum, effectively you may have got more if it was compounded more regularly. So we'll have a look at the next page. Okay, so looking at this next page, we took an example here where they said they invested $5,000. So we had an original amount invested at $5,000 and they paid the 4.8, so the 4.8 percent per annum. So what happens if at the end of 1 year, if you just had it annually, so it was just a yearly compound, you would get $240 in interest. That's how much extra you'd get. If you invested $5,000 in interest, and you decided you're going to do it, compound it quarterly. So what they do is they divide the 4.8 by 4. So every month they give you 1.2% because that's, a fourth of the 4.8. But you would find at the end of the year, you actually had earned a total interest of $244.35. So that's actually more than what the scenario before. So then if you look at the next one, when it's monthly, so even though they're only giving you 0.4%, because that's a 12th of the 4.8, they give you that every month, but you can see essentially it adds up to be more because your balance is slowly getting bigger and bigger, so you're technically getting a little bit more. So what they say is they take that amount and they make it a percentage of the original, and what you work out is this effective interest rate. So if it was once a year, it should match the nominal, which it does, which is 4.8. When it was quarterly, the effective interest rate actually is 4.89, and when it was monthly, the effective interest rate was actually 4.91. So, just depends what you are looking at. If you are having a loan, so you might want to write this, loan equals you want a small effective interest rate, yes? If you are investing, if it's an investment, you want a big, don't you? Because you want the more money you can get. So you want the large effective interest rate. All right. So just here is the actual formula that you use to calculate effective interest rate. But what you have to know, you never have to do this. You don't have to ever manually work out the effective interest rate. That is just there to show you how you would work it out for those people interested. And if you go to the next page, so here I'm going to show you how to do it on the calculator, effective interest rate. So here she said that Brooke would like to borrow $20,000 and she's deciding between two loans. So this is a loan. So she wants a low interest rate. So here you go. She's got one option where her rate is 5.95 and she's going to compound it weekly. So PPY would be 52 because there's 52 weeks in a year. And then her other option is 6% per annum, but it's compounded quarterly. So sometimes, because often the more you compound it, the more it costs, like the more you get. But because the one that's doing 52, it's a lower rate. So it's hard to compare, but if you compare their effective interest rates, you'll know which one's the better one. So if you go onto your calculators here, just on a normal calc page, if you press menu, and you should be following down. So you want to go to number 8 and finance. And then you want to press, you want to go down to number 5, which was interest conversion. And then you want to press number 2, which is effective interest rate. And what that does is bring up EFF, bracket, sorry. Now, all you have to do to get the effective interest rate is you put the per annum rate in. So for our first one, it was 5.95. So that's your per annum rate. Then you just go comma, and you put your PPY, whatever it is, how many times a year. So this one would be 52. So you can see that's what I've written in there. I press enter. So the effective interest rate for that first scenario is, say if I rounded to 2 decimal places, is 6.13%. When I do the second one, so EFF, it was 6% per annum and PPY was 4. You can see we get if you round that, a 6.14%. So because this is a loan, she wants the lowest one. So this option A is her best. So option A is her best option because it's the lowest effective interest rate. So effective interest rate's really easy to do because you're just doing it on the calculator. You just got to remember which way it goes, but you've got it in your notes. So Daniel borrows $5,000, which he intends to repay fully in a lump sum over 1 year. The annual interest rate and compounding period for 5 different compound interest loans are given. When fully repaid, the loan will cost Daniel the least amount of money. So he's got this loan. We want the lowest effective interest rate. So you're going to be typing into your calculator all of these. So you go EFF. This one would be 12.6. And it's weekly, so it'd be 52, okay? And then if you look at it, because he wants the lowest, so then you've got EFF, and you'd have this one would be 12.8, 52. Now this is compounding the same way, so you would definitely want the 12.6, wouldn't you? Anyway, so I would quickly get rid of that, because that's already weekly, and so is this one. It's already higher interest rate weekly. We don't want that one. Down here, this is a different scenario, so I'm not too sure whether that would give a different number. So I'm going to check that one. And quarterly, so that's 4. And the last one is, that's also quarterly, but a higher interest rate, so I'll get rid of that one. So really, I only have to test 2 of them. So let's see what that is. So if I do 12.6, 52, this one I got the effective interest rate to be 13.41%. And I'm going to go down and do this one. What do we get? Has anyone done it? 12 for the last one I said was an option. 12.7, 4. This one I got 13.32. So loan 4 is the way to go because that's the lowest value. He's got to pay a loan. Okay?